Welcome back, 719. I think you're going to find this interview pretty fascinating. New Mexico is filled with beautiful sites that most don't even know exist, but there's one guy who wants to change that. He is the guy to do it. Nick LaRue is joining us today to talk all about his back road Wrangler tours of our state. So good to have you.
Hey,
Nick,
likewise.
He was just giving me a little bit of sort of a flavor of, you were born in Albuquerque,
Yeah,
you grew up here.
born in Albuquerque in '55, and I've lived up and down the Rio Grande most of my life.
And that gives you such a unique perspective on things that people might not normally see. So talks about your background, your background and what you do with the knowledge that you have.
First of all, I love New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a die-hard New Mexican. I think God put me on the earth to learn every back road in New Mexico. My dad started taking me out when I was 4 or 5 years old, and I've continued the tradition. I became a middle school teacher, and originally I taught biology at Garfield Middle School in the North Valley. That's kind of my home turf, 4th and Candelaria.
Mm-hmm.
And then later I taught 7th grade New Mexico history at Madison Middle School. I retired about 3 years ago and decided to just start a little business, taking just individuals or little groups into the backcountry.
Mm-hmm. Some of the sites, what are they? Where do you
go? Well, first of all, it depends on the weather and time of year.
Mm-hmm.
In the fall, I love to bugle elk and go up in the high country. So I do a Los Alamos loop, which includes the Fuller House Museum in Los Alamos.
Mm-hmm.
Then catch elk on the Valle Grande, on the Valle Caldera, bugle elk, then come down Forest Road 289, which is a wild ride down into Caxacatui to the Tent Rocks, and then back to Albuquerque.
That's one of your favorites.
That's
What about, is there one in the south end of the state maybe?
La Joya de Cebollita, the jewel of Little Seville, south of Belen and Veguitas. La Joya was a major hub on the Camino Real. Up on the mesa above La Joya is the ruin of Silacu, where Oñate stayed with his advance column in 1598. And you can actually walk in the ruts of the Camino Real, and then in the village there's an old hacienda. It's on my DVD, and I take people in so that they can see the construction. With terrones cut from the river, the bricks cut from the river, and original vigas and latias.
That's incredible. Now, so these places are hidden, right? Maybe some folks wouldn't know
Well,
that they're there.
They're there.
Yeah.
The real New Mexico is outside the Rio Grande, you know. Although I go into Corrales, I live in Corrales, and Casa San Isidro, and a little church in Corrales. Corrales is really a well-preserved segment of Spanish colonial history.
It sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
I want to get to why you think some of these areas are disappearing. Why is that?
Well, there's two primary reasons. Just time and the environment. Unprotected adobe will melt away in 40 years. And you can see that at Coronado Monument. You can see where the reconstructed walls of Chihuahua, when they excavated in 36, gradually have melted away. And or like Guadalupe by Cabazon, it's melting away. But not only that, the human incursion of population is starting to, there's a lot of I see a lot of vandalism and destruction and pillaging, looting.
What days of the week do you offer these tours?
Well, I rarely work on the weekend. I never work on Sundays. So, and I like the work week because there are less people out. It gives a better
So maybe during the week, how do people get more information? If they're
go to my website, nick@backroadwrangler.com.
And we have a link, of course, at KRQE.com too. You know what? It's a pretty reasonable price at $30 per hour for the first person, and then $25 for additional guests. So, and that includes some key things like drinks and snacks. So that's
and a shovel. I bring a shovel.
Okay.
No, just kidding.
Well, you know what? These are going to be fascinating tours, no doubt, no matter where you go in New Mexico. It's such a beautiful place. Nick, thanks for being with us this morning. Appreciate it. It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, brother.
Take care.
Yeah,
We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.